I was talking about the theory that universes can actually reproduce, and that our universe might be so apparently evolved because it's not a first generation universe. It has been created down the enormous birth canal of a black hole, and thus has inherited its parent universe's more manageable attributes. And then I talked about the idea that we may well be living in a computer simulation. And I finally rounded off the evening with a brief discourse about how recent evidence seems to show that we are in fact a hologram being projected from the outside edge of the universe. And as I pointed out, this is stuff that rationalists find credible. I would say in that light that my worship of a 2nd century sock puppet snake god seems entirely reasonable. Well, I've always been impressed by the imagination of scientists. I don't really think that we're even necessarily, in terms of scientists and just whatever I'm supposed to be, I don't think that there's any real disparity. I mean, most of science, as far as I can see, it's grown out of occult practices. Isaac Newton was an alchemist. He famously said that he was a pygmy standing upon the shoulders of giants. One of the giants that he would certainly have been referring to was Dr. John Dee, who pretty much invented the British Empire. He was the one who first suggested it to Elizabeth I. He was an astronomer, he was an astrologer. He literally wrote the book on navigation that made Britain such an outstanding sea power. He wrote treatises upon mathematics. His library alone was probably the basis for most modern intellectual thought in Europe. So with people like that, they would have considered themselves scientists, or no, they would have considered themselves natural philosophers. And the role has always been to try and fathom the as yet unfathomable, or to imagine the as yet unimaginable. And I would say that that has been the same for occultists and for artists and for scientists. I would prefer a two-state solution. I think that my basic premise is that human beings are amphibious in the actual etymological sense of two lives. We have one life in the solid material world that is most perfectly measured by science. Science is the most exquisite tool that we've developed for measuring that hard physical material world. Then there is the world of ideas, which is inside our head. I would say that both of these worlds are equally real. They're just real in different ways. The concept of a world of ideas, yes, it's intangible. It can't be repeated in a laboratory, but pretty much the evidence for it is all around us, in that every detail of our clothing, of our mindsets, of the buildings and the streets and the cities that surround us, that started life as an idea in someone's head. Well, it's difficult politically at the moment because rationalism is under siege by all of these witless largely American fundamentalist Christians who insist that the world came into being on a Monday 6,000 years ago, and they've covered up at the visitor centre of the Grand Canyon, they've covered up any references to the canyon's actual geological age. They've said that it is a product of Noah's flood, And instead of finding out anything about the actual scientific history of the site, visitors are encouraged to enjoy a tableau that shows Adam and Eve happily coexisting with vegetarian dinosaurs. This is frightening, and it could literally, conceivably, drag all of this knowledge that we've fought so long and hard for back into the abyss of a new dark age.
Yeah.
That is serious stuff. If we lose all of our information, we're really screwed.
Yeah.
Because as long information is our most precious commodity, if we lose all the physical stuff, as long as we've got the memory of how to make that, we've lost nothing. So I think that tends to, unfortunately, it perhaps tends to drive scientists who are obviously concerned about those possibilities into an almost religious position themselves. Now, religion, etymologically, it doesn't mean anything to do with spirituality. It's got the same root as words like ligature and ligament. It means tied together in one belief. So Marxism is a religion by that definition. The various schools of physics are religions by that definition. And the problem with religions is that generally they develop dogmas, which are limitations to thought and are never a good thing.